Yo, what up? It's your brother. And hopefully your friend, Big Hill. Raquacy in the building. Black African Power. Each one teach one. Got some info, y'all. As usual, studying my art book. I've decided to get into this, man, a little bit more strenuously, or be more disciplined about it, because over the last couple of months, I think I've been slacking in my spirituality and my spiritual disciplines, the things that I practice. You know, the meditation, the wisdom studies, you know, the fasting, and a couple of other things that I do. I think I've been slacking on them, and when I slack on my spirituality, man, I start to digress. I digress mentally. And then when I digress mentally, my behavior starts to change. My behavior, my desires. And based on my past life, the life that I used to live, I have to stay strong spiritually. That's a must for me. Y'all know my story, you know. This month on the 5th, I celebrated 16 years of drug and alcohol free. But the previous 23 years, 14 in particular, I spent strung out on drugs and alcohol, right? And because of that, what I learned early in my first phases of recovery is that spiritual maintenance is a must for people like me. And maintenance is just a minimum. I like to stay spiritually strong. So I'm aware. The awareness that I have now kicks in, and I can clearly see in my behavior. So I decided that over the next season or so, I ain't even gonna put no time limit on it. I just decided to go and be a little bit more disciplined as I used to be in my spiritual practices. So, having said that, I want to share something with y'all out of this book, as I usually do. You know, I went to the part that said inner self guidelines. And I'm going to read this for you and talk about it, man, as I try to internalize it. And hopefully, man, you know, like this information here is real good information, man. And if you can grab hold to it and, man, and start using it in your life, it'll probably do you some good, just like it does me. So check this out. All right, it says, first, know, love, and respect yourself, then another. Live with dignity, honor, and self-respect. Above all, live with dignity, honor, and self-respect. Living with dignity means that you act and speak in a way that is worthy of respect. You command respect by how you carry yourself. To have honor means that when people hear your name, they think good things about you because you have good character. When you respect yourself, you set high standards and do not compromise your morals. Those who do not respect themselves fail to take proper care of themselves and open the door for others to mistreat them. In addition, they are more likely to mistreat others by talking behind their backs, gossiping, bullying, or doing other harmful things. No matter where you are, carry yourself with dignity. While the behavior of many people is dictated by what is going on around them, hold yourself to a higher standard. Avoid situations and places where wasting time is the norm. Don't be afraid of criticism. Only those who know that they are doing wrong or not doing right feel compelled to defend and explain themselves to others. Let the quality of your deeds speak on your behalf. You can't control the impressions others inform about you, and when you spend time trying to do so, you only debase your character. There's a lot of that. Let's unpack this, man. Let's get into this for a second. I'm going to spend about 10 to 15 minutes on this because I got to roll here. He just sent me this address. So I got to go chase this paper, but before I do that, I got to feed the spirit, man. It says, first, know, love, and respect yourself, then another. And I always say that. I always say, man, that things start with self. Things like respect, love, and various other things start with self. And if you don't cultivate these things within yourself, you won't be able to transmit it outwardly. You know what I'm saying? You can't respect another person if you don't have respect for yourself. You can't love another person if you don't have love for yourself. Like, you know, in various relationships I've been in, and I clearly see that the individual that I'm dealing with don't practice a standard of self-love that I find acceptable. They might find acceptable, but I'm looking from the outside in, and I clearly see that the way you live your life is not loving yourself. You mistreating your own self. So when you open your mouth and say you love me, it's hard for me to believe, because I know that love starts with self. And if I see that the love you have for yourself is very minimal, you can't make me believe that the love you have for me is great. Because first, know, love, and respect yourself, then another. Love self first. We need to teach our youth that, man. We need to pass that principle down to our youth and get them to understand that. Most of us adults, we know this, and some of us don't. But what we need to do, we need to try to really focus on that and teach that to the next generation, you know. Because as we look around with our youth, we still see a lot of self-hatred, and it's evident in the way they treat each other. Okay, now, it says, above all, live with dignity, honor, and self-respect. Above all. Now, how many of us really know what dignity means? You know, dignity and self-respect will prevent you from behaving in certain ways. I'll give you an example. I remember one time I got locked up in Georgia. When was that? That was back in, 07, 06, somewhere around in there. For some stupid shit I did, man. You know, I was still in some behaviors, you know, trying to hustle to get money, and I got caught. You know, and what I thought I did, I thought I had paid the fine, but I didn't. So they issued a bench warrant for my arrest for non-payment. So when they arrested me, they just took me in and I had to pay. But anyway, the dude that was in the cell, in the lockup with me, man, he was running around like a bum on the street. And people told me there that he is a bum on the street. So another brother, man, that got sent up for, a 24-year-old brother got sent up for 30 years, and he gave me the little stuff he had in his commissary, because we were sellies and shit. It was just some cookies and some little zooms and wham munchies and shit. So every day this dude would come to my cell and ask me had I opened the cookies. I hadn't opened them, you know what I'm saying? They was just sitting over there. And man, after about 3 or 4 days of him asking me, man, you know, I told him, man, I said, man, some of the prisons and shit I done been in and where I've been, man, you be washing drawers for these cookies. But what I tried to get him to understand is, man, I said, what you need to do, I'm going to give you these cookies, but you're going to sit back and listen to me for a minute. And what I did, man, I sat back and, man, I put him up on what this talking about, self-respect and dignity. I said, you run around here at every meal eating behind people. You scraping up other people's scrap that they don't want, like you starving. You eating 3 times a day, and you're not really that hungry because you eating 3 times a day. You know what I'm saying? You turn my stomach when you see a motherfucker eat out of some cornflakes and shit that another motherfucker done ate and just left the milk and the soggy cornflakes, and you go throw it in your tray and eat it. I was like, nah, bruh. I said, look here, man, develop you some self-respect, man, and some dignity. First, find out what that means. Find out what dignity is and what self-respect, and started practicing it in your life. And I guarantee you that will keep you from running around this jail, this correctional facility, acting like you do. And man, I think I was there for about 6 weeks. Somewhere around that 3rd or 4th week, man, dude done shaved his head, man. I saw him reading his Bible. And then when they called me when it was my time to leave, man, dude just said, he called my name and said, man, here. Thanks, man. And, you know, and I was like, wow. So I guess, you know, dude went and did what I told him to do. And then by that self-respect and dignity that he went and educated himself on, changed his behavior. So anyway, it says living with dignity means that you act and speak in a way that is worthy of respect. See, that's what a lot of us don't understand, man. You know, that having dignity in the way you carry yourself commands respect. You can't go around demanding respect from people. But if you act with dignity and self-respect, that's going to command respect, and people going to respect you just because they see the way you carry yourself. It says you know how to command respect by how you say you command respect by how you carry yourself. Exactly. Say the honor, to have honor means that when people hear your name, they think good things about you because you have good character. Now, I remember once upon a time when a person heard my name, it probably invoked fear, probably made people frown. You know what I'm saying? And when people spoke my name, I couldn't see how they got good things, how they thought good things about me because of the kind of person I was. You know what I'm saying? I was I was a mess. But now, you know, over the last 15 years, when I first got in my recovery program, and I realized that, man, that I was a man of low character and a man of low morality, I decided at that time to start building up these things. And 16 years later, I've done that. So when people hear my name now, and people that know me, you're not going to get a bad report about who Christopher is. It's just not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because of the way that, the way that I've carried myself and the character that I've built over the years. And I think that's very important, man. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the first things I look at when I deal with people. You know, I sit back and I observe your character. You know, if I'm around you for any period of time, that's what I'm looking at. Fuck what you say, watch what you do. You know what I'm saying? Your character gonna show through your behavior. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I pay attention to. And we need to teach our young folks that, man. You know what I'm saying? Because young folks don't have the wisdom to a lot of them don't have the wisdom to understand, to look past the words and what people say out their mouths and look at their deeds and get them and try to teach them to understand what character actually is, how to develop it in themselves, and look for it in others when you dealing with people in a close personal way. It says, when you respect yourself and set high standards, you do not compromise your morals. That's one thing I don't do, man. I don't compromise my morals. I'm guided by a moral compass today. It took me, I went through a lot of growing pains to develop morality. Because, you know, being a damn drunk and a crackhead will demoralize you. You know what I'm saying? When you're a serious drug addict, you find yourself doing things, man, that go against the morality that your parents and shit instilled in you. Anybody that's been on dope know that and understand that. In our recovery program, we called it pitiful, incomprehensible demoralization. And to be demoralized is a bad, pitiful state to be in. Been there, done that, went to the convention, bought the t-shirt. So today, now that I've developed some morality and I practice morality, most of my decisions that I make come from that place. From a moral, because I'm guided by a moral compass. And most of the decisions that I make come from a place of morality. High standards. You know, over the years, I've had several teenage stepchildren. And that's one of the main things that I've tried to get them to understand is how to set high standards. Because if you set high standards, a standard of behavior, a standard of dress, a personal standards, first to get them to understand, and ain't nothing wrong with having high standards. Not standards that you can achieve. If you set high standards, you will always be striving to reach them, which will always place you above average. Because if you set high standards, then your standards is probably more higher than the people around you. So, and even it's not even about the people around you, it's about your own thing. When you set high standards, you'll always be striving to reach those standards, which will always have you reaching for a higher place. That's why I get these young people to understand how to set high standards. Know what morality is, and then don't compromise those morals. You know what I'm saying? Don't be out here doing all types of immoral shit. You know what I mean? Try to keep my language. I try to have a high standard with my language, but you know, hey, it is what it is. That's the reason why I'm doing this, you know, because I realized that lately I've been kind of profane in my expression. And that's something I strive to maintain control over. Very foul-mouthed individual. Yes, I am. It says, those who do not respect themselves fail to take proper care of themselves and open the door for others to mistreat them. True that. When you don't respect yourself, then you're not going to take care of yourself. You're going to have a very low standard of self-care and self-love. And that very low standard of self-care and self-love going to be evident in how you treat yourself. And when the people you deal with see you don't care about yourself, then they going to start mistreating you too, because you don't have a standard of self-love or self-care that shows them, like, yo, you just can't treat me any kind of way. It starts with self. In addition, they are more likely to mistreat others by talking behind. In addition, they are more likely to mistreat others by talking behind their backs, gossiping, bullying, and doing other harmful things. You know, how many times, you know, we talk behind folks' back, you know, I try not to, but every now and then I get caught up. Might say some shit about a person and I have to tell myself, man, would you say that about them to their face? Because I'm the type of guy that whatever I say about you to somebody else, I'll look you through your pupil to the back of your skull and say it straight to your face. So when I say things that puts me in a position to make me feel like I'm gossiping, because I'm human, I get caught up like that every now and then. You know, I have to ask myself that, and I have to back up off that, because that's not who I am. But in my humanness, I do human things. And talking about people behind their back, gossiping and bullying is some of the things I do. And me, especially the bullying, I used to be a bully. You know what I'm saying? I don't do that no more. And doing other harmful things. See, I understand the law of attraction. I understand universal laws now, and I know that the harm that I do to somebody else, I do to myself. You know, whatever I send out into the universe going to make its way back to me, and it's going to be to gather some momentum by the times it gets to me. Whatever form it takes. You know, it might not come the exact harm that I've done to another, but it's going to be harmful because I put that energy out in the universe. And the law of reciprocity is going to come back. You know, what I you know, in the East, they call it karma. The biblical teaching is reaping what you sow. So I understand that, you know, when I do harm coming back to me. So I try hard. I've learned that that's one of the hardest lessons I've learned in my life, man, is to be careful about how I treat people, how I speak to people, and the energy that I emanate and put out into the universe. Is it positive or negative? Because it's gonna come back to me, man. And so I have to be careful about what I'm putting out. All right, so no matter where you are, carry yourself with dignity. While the behavior of many people is dictated by what's going on around them, hold yourself to a higher standard. Yeah, and in today's society, man, we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard, because look at the world around us. We live in a debased society, man. You know, it's like anything goes. Morality is at an all-time low. You know what I'm saying? It's just like black folks have just become just as savage as our oppressors and colonizers. You know what I'm saying? And spiritual teachings are really not about racial matters or color lines. Spiritual teachings aren't about that. But I understand the social construct that we in. I understand who we were before, because I've studied history. So when I look at my people today and compare that to what I knew, you know, to the norms of who we were before colonization, I know that we are living in a Greco-Roman construct, have been colonized by savage people, socially engineered by these people. So that means that our behavior is going to look just like them. You can agree or disagree with that, but it's the truth. And if you do your research, you'll find that out. It says, I won't go back over that. It says that while the behavior of many have dictated what's going on around them, you know, we have to look at that. Do we let our behavior be dictated by what's going on around us? It's easy to do. So we have to strive hard, man, to try to hold ourselves to a higher standard. Because if we don't, we're going to be just like everybody else we see. And we're going to be hypocrites, because we're going to be talking about others around us while we're practicing the same thing. But holding yourself and trying to strive to reach a high standard will keep you from doing that. Said only those, I'm trying to hear him get finished with this. Said only those who know what they're doing wrong or not doing right. It says, wait a minute, wait. It said avoid situations and places where wasting time is the norm. Don't be afraid of criticism. Yeah, wasting time is wasting money. You can get everything back, but you can't get time back. You know what I'm saying? wasting time, you know, a lot of us, I mean, we all waste time, you know, but to waste time to the degree that your life clearly reflects that, it's a problem. You need to find better things to do with your time. It says, don't be afraid of criticism. Ooh, man, don't nobody like criticism. But a wise person, man, will invite criticism because he knows that if people are criticizing him, it gives him a chance to step outside of himself and look at himself the way other people see him. You know, if you criticizing something that I'm doing, instead of me not liking the criticism, I need to try to find out, you know, if that criticism is based in truth. Is you criticizing me for something that you see that I'm doing that's making you feel uncomfortable, or you criticizing me because of some behavior that I have that you clearly see that if I stop this, it can make me a better person? Are you being constructive in your criticism, or are you just being critical? Some people just critical as hell, you know what I'm saying? Like me, I'm critical, motherfucker. I'm critic. I'm always going to call it like I see it, but a lot of times, you know, in my criticism, I try to be constructive and give you a way to correct that which I'm criticizing. You know, but me personally, I embrace criticism because, like I said, it gives me a chance to see myself as others see me. And then it gives me a window to look at myself and then try to correct that type of behavior. If I can be objective enough to say that I'll be a better person by correcting it. But anyway, it says, only those who know that they are doing wrong or not doing right feel compelled to defend themselves or explain themselves to others. You know. Yeah, man, you know, when you're doing something wrong, and in your pride, when somebody calls you on your pride to step in and you'll start trying to defend your behavior. You know, if you know that you're walking in righteousness, man, and other people start criticizing your righteous walk, you just let them do it. You're like, go ahead, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I clearly see that whatever it is that you criticizing, man, you just trying to find something to talk about me about for some reason that you have internally. So I ain't even going to worry about that. Do what you do. It says, let the quality of your deeds speak on your behalf. I was telling the brother that yesterday, you know what I'm saying? He was talking about how he made a statement about how some of the people closest to you be the one that character assassinate you. And I explained to him, I'm like, let them do what they do, man. Let your deeds speak for yourself. I said, because your deeds, I said, not your deeds, I said, let your character speak for yourself. Because anybody that's assassinating your character, the people that really know you, gonna know that that's a lie that he's telling. You know what I'm saying? But if it's the truth, then you need to be worried about it and maybe change the behavior. But if you know that all that is a character assassination, man, let the haters do what they do. Just use that as an opportunity to properly respond to people like that. Use that as an opportunity for your own personal growth, because your character gonna speak for itself anyway. You ain't even got to worry about that. You are who you are. It says you can't control the impressions others form about you, and when you spend trying to do so, you only debase your own character. Your impression about me, man, what you think about me ain't none of my business. That's in your head. And whatever impression that you have about me, if it's not based on your personal dealings with me, it's some bullshit anyway. It's just some shit that you done concocted in your mind about who you think that I am. So what I've learned to do is I'll go ahead and I'll let you assassinate and criticize who you think I am. You know what I'm saying? And continue to be who I am, and the people that know me understand who I am. And when you feel like you want to get to know who I am, then we'll sit down and I'll give you a chance to meet that person who you think you know. So I don't spend a lot of time trying to defend myself and my character about others, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, and it hurts sometimes. You know, people always say that I don't care what people think about me. Say what you want. I don't say that. You know what I'm saying? Because don't nobody likes to be ill thought of and ill spoken of. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody like that. But what I will say is that I care about what you say about me, but I don't spend too much time worrying about it. I don't lose no sleep over it. I care. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying, I don't just want you running around here talking about me bad all willy-nilly, you understand? But I don't worry about that shit, man. You know, say what you need to say about me. Just don't say it around me too close, because I might hit you in the mouth. That's who I am. But far as me trying to defend myself against something you done said about me, ain't got time for that. But anyway, man, I just wanted to go through that right quick, because I was trying to, you know, like I said, you know, get back into my spiritual, my wisdom teachings. And, you know, instead of doing this shit like once or twice a week, I need to try to do it every day to get back into that groove. I'm going to go ahead, man, and do me a 72-hour fast here at some point this week. Do me a liquid fast. And get back into some of the things that I used to do that had me vibrating on a real high frequency, you know what I'm saying? Because I noticed that over the last month or so, man, I've kind of digressed. And that's what I encourage all of us to do, man. You know, whatever spiritual practices that you have, that you do to keep you resonating high frequency, get back into it, man. Because by doing that, I always say that we good for each other. You know what I'm saying? If you resonate in high frequency and I resonate high frequency, we good to each other, and then we could just pass that energy and the knowledge and the wisdom, understanding down to the next generation. And for me, that's what it's all about. I'm sharing the information with you, and then hopefully you can pass the information on to whoever you feel going to benefit from it. That's why I always say each one teach one. Big Hill. Peace. I'm out.